me to welcome each one of you present as at this moment to the 2020-2021 question and answer orientation. I hope each one of you has been following on YouTube the videos that have been posted to help you guys be oriented and have a bit of knowledge on each and every course that is offered here in Morocco. My name's Ms.Twiza Mulwanda, Secretary General, Zambia Association Students in Morocco. I welcome each one of you. Before I go any further, I will just open in a word of prayer. Father, we thank you, we give you the glory, and we give you the honor for today's question and answer orientation. I thank you for each and every person present in this place. I thank you for the speakers, and I thank you for each one of us that are here to listen and to learn from each other. I pray that today will be a fruitful and productive day and fruitful and productive program for each one of us, that we may get out of this place with the knowledge that we need, well oriented. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we pray and we thank you, for we believe and we know that you are with us in this place. In Jesus' name, amen. So I'm sure each one of you know what somehow the program is like for today. We have different speakers. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 who are going to talk about different fields today. It's about question and answers. That's why I'm hoping that each one of you took some time to listen to the YouTube videos that we are posting, so that you can see where you have questions. There are some of the speakers that have not yet joined us, but are hoping that they will join us soon. Each speaker is given 15 minutes to speak or to be asked questions. So you have 15 minutes with each speaker in a different field. And for the meantime, I think we have present Ms. Chimwemwe Kumayo and Ms. Betty Mulinga. Ms. Chimwemwe Kumayo and Ms. Betty Mulinga, the rules will be for today that when it's your time to intervene, to speak, or to be asked questions, you're going to turn on your mic and your cameras so that people at least can see you. And to the students that are learning, it's a time of interaction. It's a time of you guys getting to know more about the courses that are offered in Morocco. So I will invite each one of you to be really free. It's we are not parents. We are not we're not people that you should be scared of. We are just people that have gone ahead of you and have knowledge about what you guys are about to venture into. So I would invite each one of you to be really free and be interactive, ask questions, and be precise, be short. Don't prolong your questions. I would advise that your questions should be very brief, so that we can kill time and finish the program in the time that was allocated to it and continue with our day. So I would ask each one of you to be really free, and for the speakers, I would ask you to briefly just introduce yourselves and the course, the domain that you're going to be presenting. We're going to start with Ms. Chimwemwe, and after Ms. Chimwemwe will be presenting in the field of pharmacy, we'll have Ms. Betty. So we can start in that order. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Chimwemwe Ngamayo. I'm a third-year pharmacy student here in Morocco. Yeah, that's a little introduction. So feel free to ask your questions and please keep them as brief as you can. Thank you. Are there any questions concerning pharmacy? Anything that wasn't clear, or anything that would just, spark your curiosity?
Okay, Miss Chimamwe. In the meantime, as they are all thinking about what they would want to be clear on, I don't know if there was anything that you feel you didn't talk about when was not talked about when the video was released on YouTube. You can be walking us through maybe the whole program in case maybe you left out anything or you'd want to add anything to what you already shared while we are waiting for people to ask questions.
Okay, just give me a minute.
All right, no problem. Please, as I said, let's be interactive. We don't have to be scared of each other. Be very free. We are just like your elder siblings. So be free to ask questions. This is about your schools. It's about your future. So where you're not clear, you do ask questions. It doesn't have to be your specific field, and you don't know what you might find when you come to Morocco. So I would advise that everybody will be curious about each and every course, because you might not know what you might find yourself into, just in case you even find the other courses to be more interesting than what you think. So you might ask, you might want to know about the challenges, maybe how they manage to pull through up to where they are today. You might want to ask about maybe the modules, the subjects that they are looking at, how they managed to do life and to do school at the same time, how it was in the first year, the second year. All those are questions that you all should be curious to ask. So let's be interactive. And for the speakers who've just joined us, I was just talked about the rules that we're going to be having during this program. When it's your time to intervene, everybody, I don't know if you've all received the program. Everybody has 15 minutes to interact with the students. And during your time of intervention, you are advised at least to just open your microphone and your camera so that people can see you. You have at least the first 5 minutes or 2 minutes to introduce yourselves to the people. And while they're still thinking about what to ask you, you can tell us about what you feel you didn't talk about or what was not yet talked about in the videos that were put up on YouTube. Yeah, those are the few rules that we have, unless you have any questions also. Otherwise, those are the few rules that we have for the speakers. And for us, please, let's be interactive.
Twiza, I don't think there's anything that I left out in the video, but there's just, of course, there's just a few things that were maybe not very clear. But
Okay,
then I'm waiting for questions because I can't just start talking without actually knowing what information people would like to know or would like to get clear.
Okay. For the French year students, no one was given pharmacy here?
I was wondering.
None of you was given pharmacy? Because this is your opportunity to interact with Ms. Chimwemwe to get more information.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
I have a question concerning languages, as in, is it a must for us to study Arabic? Like when we go outside, are we also going to learn Arabic, or we're just going to learn French?
Only French. For Arabic, it's only in certain schools, but if you're asking concerning my school, which is the Faculty of Medicine, you won't have to learn Arabic.
Okay, maybe I have a question for them. Let me ask you a question on their behalf. Like when do you start doing stage? Like for pharmacy, when do you start doing stage? I don't know if you guys know about what stage is. Internship. When do you start doing stage?
Okay, so internship, also called stage, starts in second year, at the end of second year. So at the end of second year, we have one stage just after exams at the beginning of the summer vacation, we have stage in just a basic pharmacy, like just a small shop, pharmacy, any pharmacy you'd find around. And then in fourth year, well, that's compulsory stage, but in third year, you can do internship if you wish. Then in fourth year, we have hospital internship, which is also at the end of fourth year, just at the beginning of the summer vacation, which is done in the hospital, as I have said, and is compulsory as well. Then we have the fifth stage, stage in fifth year, which is not done at the beginning of the summer vacation, but is rather done as you will be going to school throughout the semester, throughout both semesters, if I'm not mistaken. So we have class in the morning in fifth year. You have class in the morning, no, you have stage in the morning, and then we have class in the afternoon. That's from fifth year, first semester, second semester. That's the way it is. Then in sixth year, we have compulsory stage, but then in sixth year, there are no classes. So it's just internship the whole throughout. It's internship in the pharmacy, there's internship, you can do internship in the hospital. You can also do internship in a lab, although the lab internship is beginning to be phased out. And then you also have to do internship in an industry. And all these internships, you have to, well, for those that are done outside the hospital, you have to find them on your own. Otherwise, that's a little bit how it is concerning internship.
Yeah, okay, you said that you do internship at the end of first year, right?
At the end of second year.
Second year, and you're in third year?
Yes, I'm in third year.
Okay, so at the end of second year, how was internship? Like, did you do it in Morocco or you did it back home?
Well, at the end of second year, we had COVID-19. That was last year. So first of all, we were not having classes, or we were having classes, but they were online. And then, so the problem was this COVID-19. So the school didn't issue out any program talking about internship. So we didn't do internship that year. So for us that didn't do it last year, after second year, we're going to do it this year, after third year.
All right. Because I wanted, the question I wanted to ask after was in line with the previous person's question about Arabic. I wanted to find out, I don't know if you have any ideas, because I've heard, I'm not so certain, but people that are doing medicine, I don't know if that's the same for you guys who've done a master's, like that, where they've complained, not really complained, but they've talked about the importance of learning at least a bit of Arabic, because you will be interacting with the people. How true is that, or what can you say about that?
Well, at the moment I can't say much because I haven't done any internship, but I was told that of course you have to know some basic Arabic. All right. So yeah, especially for the time when you're going to be doing internship in the hospital. Yeah.
Okay. So any questions for Ms. Chimwemwe? She's remaining with 4 minutes. So if you have any questions, please ask her now.
I have a question concerning the internship.
Go ahead.
She mentioned something about going back home if you want to do the internship. So you can come back to Zambia and do the internship if you want.
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. Who has to pay for your air ticket and everything?
You pay for it yourself.
Okay.
It's Gibson, right? Gibson, what course were you given?
Engineering.
Are you doing engineering?
Yes.
Okay. So Mnotakuli ukwete pharmacy. The people connected, nobody was given pharmacy.
I don't think so.
All right.
And no one is interested in doing pharmacy.
Okay. How long is pharmacy?
It's 7 years. Yeah.
Right, 7 years.
The-
So meaning in the 6th year and the 7th year, you're going to be doing stage.
No, in the 6th year you do stage, then in the
Mhm.
7th year you'll be preparing your thesis.
Okay. What about the program about, is it now direct pharmacy or you can still get pharmacy via BCG and SBT?
Well, right now it's only direct pharmacy. That's what I was told.
Okay.
I asked and I was told that they no longer offer pharmacy through BCG. Only directly.
Okay. So whoever wants to do pharmacy, they have to be given by AMC. So
Yes.
nobody else gets pharmacy.
No one.
How has your experience been doing pharmacy? Do you think it's something you can encourage us to do in the future? Something you can encourage the Frenchies to do?
Well,
Mhm.
first of all, I'll start with it's definitely something I can encourage someone to do. It's a
Mhm.
very vast course. You can branch off into literally anything. Well, except for, of course, things like civil engineering or architecture. But anything in the medical field, you can branch off into anything in the medical field. And my experience, well, in these 3 years that I've been doing pharmacy, from my experience, first and second year were, I wouldn't want to say a walk in the park, but they were not, they were basic. Like it was just fundamental science, biology, a little bit of math. It's like just preparatory classes. It's like natural sciences, I would say. Then
Okay.
third year is the one that's a bit involving. So yeah, third year
Okay.
is involving. It's really involving. But
Okay. So in your first year, second year, did you have any challenges with the French? Because you said, as you put it, was like just like a walk in the park. So did you,
no,
knowing that it was, yes, it was the basic science, biology and all that, but it was in French. So how was that?
it was, of course, in the beginning, it was a bit hard. Okay, let's just forget I said it was a walk in the park, but in the beginning, there was a bit of a language barrier, of course, because we were learning things like chemistry in French. So we had new terms. Of course, most of the terms don't change, but we still had new terms, especially in the biology subjects, like, all those things to do with plants and whatnot. But I really just had to apply myself because I saw that if I do not apply myself here, I will not be able to move forward. So what I told myself is I will have to learn the French. I have to make sure I learn the French. I didn't want to learn my courses in English because, trust me, translating to English, it will seem like a solution in the beginning, but later on, it was a temporary solution for me. But later on, I realized that it was pulling me back a bit because I don't want to say wasting my time, but it was somehow wasting my time because each time I would translate in English and then go to French and then now study in French, and I just noticed it was a bit of a waste of time. So I just tried to really apply myself in French, really learn the French so that I can, be able to study without even having to translate.
David has raised his hand. I don't know whether you have a question. Okay, yeah, you can speak.
Oh no, sorry, it was just a mistake.
All right. Okay, Ms. Chimwemwe, we're going to give you just 1 minute to give us general advice as from a senior student, is someone who's gone ahead of us in studies, to us who are coming to school. What's your general advice?
Well, the first thing I'll say is, of course, put God first. Also, just make it a point to learn French. Because trust me, okay, of course you'll be able to get around, but just learn French. And for first and second year, just make sure you really apply yourself, because everything that you do in third year will stem from what you did in first and second year. So you really have to apply yourself and make sure you know your courses, especially the second year courses. Another piece of advice, study. Yeah, study and make objectives. And yeah, objectives are very important. Just, yeah, I think I gave some piece of advice in my video. And also, the last thing I'll just say is to get familiar with the school system as soon as you get into it. Yeah, because it will serve as an advantage to know the school system before anything, before exams, before you start learning. If you know the school system, you're good. You'll be able to tackle it. And I believe that's all I can say. But above all, study.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chimwemwe. Thank you. I hope you guys are picking one or two things, and I hope you've seen how you can ask questions, more especially those in the medical domains and all those kinds of things. So thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for telling us about your course and a few things that we've learned. We are going to go to our next speaker for today, Miss Betty Mulinga. Please, may you turn on your camera and your microphone and introduce yourself at least first 1 minute.
First, can you get me?
Yes, we can get you.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Mulinga Betty, a second year student studying medical laboratory. Yes.
Okay, you have Betty Mulinga for you guys. You can ask her questions. I don't know if anybody was given a medical laboratory or biomed, as we call it in Zambia. You can ask her questions while you are not clear, where you need more understanding about the course itself. How many modules does she take? She's in the second year. Should be, is it your immediate senior? Is it? Yeah. So feel free to ask her anything that you want. And Miss Betty, you can just be walking us through also the things that you feel you didn't really express. You didn't really tell us about the course. What is it about? What exactly do you do? What is medical laboratory? How many modules do you take? And maybe which city are you in? How is it? How has it been for you? All the stuff. I don't know if you talked about it already, or you're waiting for people to ask questions. I don't even know if these guys, all of them, are just doing engineering courses or what. Yeah, so you can tell us about that.
Okay, so I think medical laboratory is all about analyzing samples from patients. It can be blood, it can be urine, and it's very important in the hospital because without it, the doctors cannot find the diagnosis of the disease. Yeah, and I'm doing my course in phase, and I don't really remember how many modules I had in my first semester, but between 6 and 7, and I started my stage in semester 3. Yeah, it's very interesting because in the beginning just the modules, you can't really know what the course is about. But as soon as you start doing the stage, you get to apply whatever you learned and you get to understand.
Okay, that's really interesting. You said something like, without you guys, the doctors are not able to diagnose a disease. How is that so?
Okay, not only without us, but yes, we play a role in the diagnosis of diseases. For instance, maybe the doctor thinks someone has diabetes. How are they going to find if they have diabetes or not? You have to test for glucose in their urine and in their blood, and that testing of the glucose in the urine or the blood is done by us.
Okay, so basically you do blood analysis, what's really wrong with the patient, is it really what the doctors are suspecting, is it really diabetes, is it what is really causing a certain disease, and all that is done in a lab.
Yes.
So that's what your course is all about. So far, you mentioned something like you've done your stage already, that was in the third semester. So how was your stage like? How was your experience? Were you doing stage plus school, or you just doing stage?
Well, first we started with school, and then as soon as we were done with the modules, we went stage. Yeah, it was interesting, and it was challenging here and there because at first we worked at the transfusion center, and normally for our course, we don't really interact with the patients. We only receive the samples in the lab and then do tests on them. But at the transfusion center, you get to interact with the patients. So I think that's where the language barrier came in, because we had to start learning certain keywords in Arabic in order for us to communicate with the people. But all in all, it was very interesting. Yeah.
Excuse me. So at some point you're saying just the keywords that are used in the lab in Arabic are important at least to know.
Yeah, you have to know how to greet, how to ask for their names. Yeah, just a few words.
Okay, so why would you encourage me, a French student who wants to come to Morocco? Maybe AMSI might give me a course like MedLab. Should I take it or not? Why should I take the MedLab if I'm given the MedLab?
Well, I think you should take it because it's marketable right now. As we are speaking in Zambia, there are only a few lab technicians. Yeah, and sometimes you find you find people who didn't even do the course just being taught how to do these things in the lab, but they don't really know what the course is about. So it's really, really marketable. People are needed in the labs, and it's very interesting if you like experimenting, if you like mixing chemicals. It's very, very interesting.
Okay, that's interesting. Nema, I don't know if you had a question or I've seen you raise the hand, or maybe it was a mistake.
Aside from the language barrier and all, what would you say is your biggest challenge about studying there?
My biggest challenge. Wow. I think so far it's only the language that has been a challenge to me, I think. Yeah.
Okay, anybody else that has a question?
Then what influenced the city?
Pardon?
What influenced your choice of city, the city where you're studying from? What influenced you decided?
Okay. To be honest, I didn't even know what I wanted to study. I just, even when I was applying to ANSI, I just put a variety of courses. Yeah, until I was picked for this course. In the beginning, I didn't even know what the course was about, but with time, I realized it was a very interesting course.
Okay, so you were just picked specifically in phase.
Yeah, and actually, I didn't even apply for this city, but I found myself here.
How
So
is it in phase?
Okay, before I respond to that question, sometimes you put a city that you want to go to, but you find that you won't be taken to that city. So don't be surprised if that happens to you. And for Fez, it's a very nice town because there are a lot of Zambians. So it somehow feels like home because when you go outside, you get to meet your fellow people, your fellow Zambians rather. And the cost of living is quite manageable compared to other towns, like the tourist towns like Marrakesh and Casablanca and Tangier. Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. Anybody else that has a question? Okay, so when you did your stage, you talked about working in a lab, so you're dealing with human samples, blood samples, all those kind of stuff, more especially with blood. I think you mentioned something about blood transfusion. Is that so?
Yeah.
How, because most people, when they hear med lab, working in the lab, blood bank, transfusion and all that, it's kind of like creepy and scary. What if I get HIV? What if I make a mistake? So can you tell us about the security precautions? Like, how was it for you when handling blood that you don't even know it's coming from? You're not certain whether this blood is infected or not. How is it for you? How secure is the job?
Oh, it is safe if you follow the rules. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay.
It is very safe. You always have to wear gloves before you touch anything in the lab. You have to put on your mask. You have to make sure you're wearing closed shoes, and you always have to wear a lab coat to protect your clothes from getting stained.
Okay, so in short, you enjoy the course or not?
Yes, it's very enjoyable. It's very nice.
Okay, you have 5 minutes remaining. So it's either you tell us about any general advice, add something that you didn't add, or yeah, tell us what's your general advice to the students that are coming to Morocco and might just be given the course that you are given, because we also have an issue of people trying to change their courses. So what would you tell such a one who happens to have been given mid-lab in a case where they came for something else? So just general advice. Should we change or should we just come like that?
Okay, in a case where you're given my course and you feel like you need to change, um, I'm sure you won't be the first person who will be given a course that you didn't want. And so I think I would say that you should just go for it, because a lot of people were given courses that they never wanted, but they just went for it. They gave the course a chance, and actually they are doing well. Yeah. And as a student in Morocco, I would advise someone to have the learning spirit, like just be willing to learn, even if you not understanding in class may seem like you won't make it. Like just have the spirit to learn and ask questions, and everything will work. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for coming through, Miss Betty. We really appreciate the advice and the few things that we have learned. I've actually learned a lot. I've learned something at least about biomed, more especially the blood transfusion. It used to really scare me, but thank you so much for the advice. Thank you for coming through. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome, and have a good day.
Thank you so much. And I hope for the students, the French students, this is for you guys. I'll keep reminding you that be interactive and don't be scared to ask anything, no matter how much you might think as if the question is, no matter how, I don't know if I can use the word silly is the word, but be interactive. Ask as much as you can because you're coming to a place you've never been. There's so many things. I don't know, maybe you guys are not just curious, but ask. I don't know if you know everything already. I'm not so sure. But while we have this opportunity to interact together, use it. Yeah. And I hope from the questions that I'm asking, which I'm not even sure if they're helping, I hope they are really helping you guys. Okay, we're going to go to the next speaker without wasting much of your time. We're going to go to Ms. Kundananji Namunga, who's going to tell us about anesthesia. I don't know if she's around, she's connected yet.
Kayanga, if it's good afternoon or good morning, but hi.
Good morning.
It's afternoon in Zambia, I'm guessing. Hello, everybody. My name is Kundananji, and I'm here to answer your questions on anesthesia, if you have any.
Yeah, I guess maybe. And Ms. Chimomo has commented in the comment section, and she says maybe the videos were
very clear.
Yeah, maybe.
Is there anyone in here who has been given anesthesia? No one.
Evans has raised his hand.
Okay. Evans, do you have?
It's a question rather. No, but I was not given anesthesia.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to ask what anesthesia is about and how many years of study in Morocco.
Okay. So what we do in Morocco is not just anesthesia, but it's anesthesia and reanimation. So it means it's anesthesia and intensive care. You are trained for more like 2 courses. If you go to Europe, it's 2 separate courses, but here in Morocco is 1 course. So what we do is, while we're doing the anesthesia side, we work with pain management and patients, like we how to put this? We make sure, let's say, let me give you an example. If you're going for an operation, right? The surgeons, they only cut and fix. We deal with the rest of the stuff, like making sure you don't feel pain, making sure you're sleeping if you have to sleep, making sure you don't move, making sure you're breathing well, making sure you're not dying, so your heart is functioning, and all that other stuff. That's our work. When we are working in the theater, that is. But if we are working in the intensive care, we have other works. It's almost the same thing. We make sure the patients who are in coma and the patients who are very sick, terminally ill, we try to manage their life so that they don't die. So if we need to give them certain strong drugs that will keep their heart going, that's what we do. I don't know if that's clear or if you have any questions. Oh yeah, and in Morocco, how long does it take? It takes 3 years to do. Generally in Zambia doesn't really have like a course anesthesia, except they've just started it this year. So this year, Levi Mwanawasa has their first promotion of anesthesists, and it will take them 5 years to complete. But in Morocco, it takes us 3 years to do the whole course. So there are 2 systems here. The French system just looks at them as anesthesists, but the English system calls them nurse anesthesists. So you find 2 people with the name anesthesia in the hospital. You find a doctor anesthetist and a nurse anesthetist. What we're doing, what I did, is nursing anesthesia. So it means normally if you should follow the correct line, you should do 3 years of nursing and 2 years of specializing. But then in Morocco, they've kind of found a shortcut around the thing. So we do 3 years of anesthesia and 1 year of kind of like general stuff, which is nursing, and 2 years of specialization in the anesthesia.
Also, the same years applies under the LMD system and the new system that is to be adopted.
I know of the LMD system. It's in the LMD system. And that it will be your L, is your license. I don't know which one is the other system. Which one is the other system?
I saw in some presentation where they were saying Morocco is to adopt, I think, the British system. something like that.
We are still under the LMD system. This is still in the LMD system. I hear they want to change and make courses 4 years, but as at now, it's still 3 years. For anesthesia, it's still 3 years.
All right,
And
thank
when
you.
you go back home, because there's not as many anesthesists with degrees, the first promotion that went 2 years ago, and they had to be registered they had to open a new book for them at the registration office because they didn't have anesthesists with degrees. And so when you come and you do the anesthesia, you see that there's a lot of market when you go back home because there are very few people who have it. And now Levi Monawasa is just starting. For their next promotion, their first intake to finish, they'll finish in 5 years' time. It means the people who've come to Morocco, if you guys come and you have anesthesia, you'd have been done by then.
Okay, so Mr. Mwinga, where did you do your anesthesia from? Or actually, do you know that it was a specialization?
Yeah, it's specialized.
Where did you do it from?
I did my anesthesia in Fez.
Why Fez?
There's too much of Fez.
Yeah.
I did my anesthesia in Fez because that's what AMSI gave me. Initially, we had 3 options. So I was so sure I wanted to do anesthesia. So I wrote anesthesia, anesthesia, anesthesia. And then I put Rabat, Fez. Because I did my French here in Rabat. So I was used to Rabat. And then I put Fez because I had been to Fez before and I knew somebody who was doing anesthesia in Fez, and the person kind of encouraged me to go to Fez. So I didn't want to go to a town where if I had to go and do the anesthesia, I'll be the first person, like the first Black person or the first Zambian to do the anesthesia. It would be a bit more challenging because already I'll be sure that the Moroccans there have never interacted, or maybe they've only interacted with one Black person, so they don't know how to behave. I might be the example, I didn't want that.
Okay. I don't know if anybody else has questions for Ms. Namwinga, but for the meantime, you are remaining with only 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. You can tell us about what were your challenges, what helped you through the course, and because you're talking to a graduate right here. So what helped you? What helped you through the course? What was your, what do they say? Is it your strength? What was that word? I think I've forgotten it, but yeah, what helped you through the course? And what were your challenges? What can you give us as general advice to the students who are coming to Morocco? Ask the students that are coming to Morocco.
Okay, so, okay, for me personally, my challenges when I was studying were, at first, it was more of the language because my first semester was a bit rocky because of the language. I went to Fez to do anesthesia in French, but I had some professors who would teach in Arabic, and I haven't learned Arabic. And they'll be like, no, it's not the important, these are not the important things we're saying. We'll say the important things in French. But during the exam, I'll find that the things that they were saying in Arabic, I don't know what they were saying. But then maybe somebody will translate 2 or 3 things. And the things they said is what's in the exams. And also, not just the Arabic, the fact that I'm an Anglophone, like I'm an English speaker, and the French we were learning in Rabat was not like real French. I needed like biological French to go into school. But then in Rabat, we were learning more like standard French, the one that you need for your day-to-day life. And it was a bit challenging in my first semester, like the language. But then when I just made up my mind and said, you know what, we are here, we're not going anywhere, we better do this thing. It was still a challenge, but I had to decide to say that even if people laugh at me, I'm going to still practice my French because it's going to help me So I started speaking French a lot with my classmates who are Moroccans and my Francophone classmates, whoever. I'll speak French and they'll be like, they'll laugh at me like, no, we don't say like this, we say like this. And I'm like, okay, fine, at least I'm learning. And it really helped me. And also, I think for me personally, what helped was interacting with the Moroccans, because I realized that our system is not the same as their system. And the only way I'll learn their system is if I integrate with them. So I had Moroccan friends who I knew would help me. But let me tell you, there are three types of Moroccans you'll find in your class. There's the Moroccan who doesn't care about you, the Black person, like they don't care. In fact, don't touch them, don't talk to them. And then there's a Moroccan who cares about you, especially the fact that you speak English, because they want to learn English and they want to play. And then there's the serious Moroccan who is like, they're serious. They are okay. If you need help, they'll help you here and there. Those ones are rare, but you'll find them if you look nicely. And I integrated with both. Like I integrated with the two types, the ones who are fun, but I knew that if I squeeze them nicely, I'll get information out of them. And the ones who are very serious, because I knew that if I needed anything serious, I can count on this one to help me. And so they helped me more integrate into their system, understand what the profs mean when they say this. And they helped me a lot. And because of them, I learned how to interact with the professors also. So I had a chance to, because anesthesia, they usually pick very few people. My class, we graduated 16 of us for the whole promotion. So I had a chance to interact with the professors, which many of my classmates who are foreigners they didn't use that opportunity. But that helped me because when the professors are coming to mark, they know who I am. Or when the professors are coming to give marks, they know who I am. So they'll be like, okay, at least, let me give you an example. If at all I was supposed to get a 9 out of 10, the professor will be like, she talks in class, so let me just give her a 10 for her to validate. Do you understand? So for me, I feel like those things really helped me. And that was my difficulty. And because of anesthesia, I like to think I'm an outgoing person. So it helped me in the theater because you have to talk to your patients. And yeah, you don't learn Arabic outside like as a course, the way we learn French, but then you have to learn a little bit of Arabic to speak to your patients because your patients need to feel comfortable. I dealt with patients in critical conditions. They are they're always on their last bed. Either they're dying from here or you will save them. So it's important to help them feel as though they have a chance. And you have to do that in their language. So I had to learn a little bit of Arabic just to comfort my patients a bit. And even if they are sad, they'll be like, there's this foreigner who can speak Arabic, and they'll laugh a bit before anything. Yeah. I don't know if there's any question, but that's what I have to say.
That was really great information. As I said, we're all interacting, and maybe these are some of the things that they all needed to know as they are coming. I think you really emphasized on the importance of friendship and being outspoken, participation in class, and some of those things that helped you. Knowing you personally, you've done stage, I know. So I want to ask whether you've done stage or not. I'm asking a little bit some of almost like similar questions because everybody has a different, we can all say something different about the same experiences that we've had in the same place. So I also wanted to talk to us about how it was. Okay, maybe it's somehow the same thing. You've touched a little bit of it about the stage, interacting with your patients. So I just wanted maybe you give a little bit of more clearance on how your stage was. Was it with school at the same time? Was it just stage alone? Okay. How did you,
Okay, so for anesthesia, you start your stage in your first year. You have 6 semesters in total to complete the course, and you start your stage in your second semester. So that's your first year, second semester. You start stage until your 6th semester. So you have stage for 5 semesters. And the way it is it's mixed with your school. It's a course, it's a module. So they grade you on your stage also. And the way it was is you go for stage in the morning, and then in the afternoon you have class. Or sometimes you have stage the whole day, or sometimes you have class the whole day. So it depends on how your timetable is. But the more you go, the more you do stage often. Sometimes we even had night shift. So you go for night shift. Like you have stars during the day and you go for night shift, then the next day you're off. Yeah, unless you have class, then you go for class. That's how our stage is done. And I think you asked something that I haven't. You said how long is our stage? Yeah, I think I've touched that one. And when do we do it? Yeah. And it's frequent, like it's a lot. The thing with anesthesia is you work a lot, like you really work. So you have to love it before you do it because you might be stressed.
Okay. That was quite great information. I think us who are preparing ourselves to come to Morocco, learning about that was quite good for us. I hope my fellow students, my fellow French students also benefited just like I have. But all in all, thank you so much for coming through, Ms. Namwinga. We really appreciate your presence and the information that you gave us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, so we're going to go to the next person, the next speaker, who is Ms. Kristen Womba. Is it? No. Before Mr. Christine, we're going to go to radiology. Miss Mwaba. I don't know if she's connected yet. Miss Mwaba. Okay, I'm not certain whether she's connected or not.
I am here. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, we can. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's
morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, good morning.
My name's Mwaba Tembo. I'm a second year radiology student at INSPIT, short form of Institut Supérieur d'Infirmières et Techniques de Santé, doing radiology.
Okay, everybody, here is Miss Kristen Tembo. Sorry, Miss Mwaba Tembo. Anybody doing radiology or who was giving radiology, sorry? In the audience, so everything was clear that she talked about. Do you think you left out anything when you gave the orientation, when the video was posted on Facebook? Was any information left out that you'd want to share with us right now as we interact with you personally? Even though it's via internet, at least it's still an opportunity to see you and to exchange with you.
Yeah, okay. I can just add on or re-emphasize on certain things. Well, basically, radiology is a field of study that deals in using machinery in diagnosing diseases. So you visualize the body structures, organs, and basically the skeleton. And each body part has a specialized type of machine that we use to see any problems or as to whether the organ has a problem or not. And it's a 3-year degree program. And most people would wonder whether it really is a degree in Zambia because it's 3 years. So when you convert it, yeah, it is a degree. And basically the first year is to do with an introduction into the system where you have to do fundamentals of biology. You learn the human body and also you learn about basic hospital etiquette and also how you can work in the hospital and the Moroccan system, how hospitals in Morocco are arranged. But sadly, for that one, we are disadvantaged because we're supposed to learn the Zambian system, but we learn the Moroccan system. So I'm sure when we go home, that's why we have to, for the 6 months, we have to learn how hospitals in Zambia run. And then for your second year, that's where now you start your specialty. You learn each machinery down from the physics of how the machine is made to how you should work with it, how you can operate it. And then we have stage where you have to now go and practice what you've learned in class.
How often do you do your stage?
Well, we do it from second year to third year. So that's 4 semesters. So each semester is divided into 2 modules of stage. But for your 5th semester and for your 6th, you have like 4 modules of stage or more. Yeah, because that's where now you have to be perfect.
Great. So do you also directly interact with the patients or yeah, you guys directly interact with the patients, yeah?
Yes, and that's where the Arabic part comes in. So You have to learn, as my fellow speakers talked about, learning how to greet, also how to, because there's positioning of a patient, talking to them. Sometimes they come, they don't know what papers they should come with, documents. So you have to, it has to be more Arabic so that you can at least talk to your patients. Because sometimes, like for your stage in S3, semester 3, is communication between you and the patient. So you have, for you to pass that exam, you need to learn Arabic so that you can communicate with your patient and earn yourself marks.
Okay, I must guess you're also in phase.
Yes, I am.
Okay, okay, that's
But I
great.
think a lot of us chose phase, so we decided to be a group and come and fight as one here.
For the stage, for some certain faculties, you get to look for stage for yourself. I don't know how the inspits work.
No, for instance, they pick 3 hospitals in phase where you have to go and pass your stage there. You do not find stage for yourself.
So for stage, it's facilitated for you guys. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, you
Okay,
don't.
I guess I and my fellow students are hearing about that because stage here to the French students is something that in some certain schools you have to look for it yourself, like in the faculties, and I'm now getting to realize that actually in the inspits they get to find stage for you. So those are some of the advantages as you are picking your schools. In any case where they give you obviously any school in the inspits, at least have that as an advantage for you guys in mind that stage will be found for you. You don't have to go out there looking for stage or something. So okay, just like I've asked the other speakers, how did you manage to get through here and give us your general advice?
Well, I would advise, for me, I think what worked best for me was cooperation with my fellow Zambians who were doing the same course as me. Sometimes you come here, you find your different personalities and you're wondering, I'm alone and all. But working together as a group is something that really helps you, because sometimes you feel down and they may be the ones to motivate you, teach you, make you understand certain things that you don't understand. And prayer, most importantly, when you feel you can't do it, God intervenes
Okay.
for you. And
Amen.
just help from Moroccans and all those things can also be added advantages for you. And self motivation sometimes.
Okay. Read something. Okay, Chumumu has raised her hand. I don't know that she has a question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, how often do you interact with radioactive material, and how assured am I that I will be protected as a, is it second year student doing my stage in the hospital?
Um, for that one, we are at risk, but when you look at a radiology room, call it SAR, the radiology, you have a small room where you work from. So that room is, I don't know how to explain. It's a protected. It has a certain type of material that has a certain thickness that protects you from the X-rays. So it's advisable that each time you're having a patient, sometimes patients who are reanimated, they are on oxygen and all come in and they make movements and it affects you as you're doing your job. So don't risk your life to come out and say, no, I'll help this patient. But just make sure you always stay in that room and sometimes just give yourself a break, come out and then go in, don't just stay there. But there is protection, but it's not guaranteed that you're fully 100% safe, but it's there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Miss Tembo, thank you very much for the advice. I hope you guys are hearing these things that these guys are telling you about the challenges they're facing and how they've managed to walk through this journey. I hope you're really taking notes. From her, I've really learned also self-motivation, cooperation with her fellow Zambians. You are going to come here as a person, yes, but you are also with a group of people. So where you need to ask questions, I guess, don't be too proudful to say, I got this, yes, I got my 6 points, I got all those kinds of things. Learn to cooperate with others. The previous speaker talked about cooperation with the Moroccans. She's talked about cooperations with your fellow Zambians. And also self-motivation, very important, because there'll be obviously times that you just need to motivate yourself and know why you are coming to Morocco. Otherwise, Miss Mwara, thank you so much. I think she was the last speaker for the speakers talking about medical courses. And for the speakers, guys, don't talk, you give your presentation and you leave. We're all in this together. You're going to be here just in any case, maybe somebody comes up with a question and they would want to ask you guys. So I would urge you guys maybe to stay with us. Yeah, thank you so much. So this was the last speaker talking about medical courses. Does anybody have any question? Because as far as we are concerned, as of today, questions and answers session, we're going to seal the deal that we have done all that we could to prepare you guys for your school as you're coming to Morocco. So if you have any question right now concerning anything medicine, from all the speakers, you can ask any question from them. If no question, we're going to the business, people. We're going to business, I hope. Okay, is it Gregory? Raise the hand. Yes, you can speak.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I have a question for the Chimwemwe, like the one doing medical laboratory.
Okay, medical laboratory, it's not Chimwemwe. It's Miss Betty Mulinga.
Oh yes. Yeah. So I wanted to know, is it like possible, like when you complete your program, to like venture into pathology through your program?
Miss Betty Mulinga, please, can you give us the answer? Is Miss Betty Mulinga connected or?
I don't think she's here. Close feedback. But because we're at the same school, so I think it's the same thing. So from med lab to pathology, I think it's possible, but no one has done it yet. You might just have to find a school. And that's like, if you want to do a master's, because looking at the courses that you do, I think if you really want to do it, you can find it. In Morocco, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't know which school does that anyway.
Okay, I don't know if the answer was given.
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
Right. So for anybody doing medicine, our medical sector, whenever there's a question asked, and if you know the answer, please do answer the question. And if a specific speaker has been spotted, please do come through for us. And don't for the students, don't be ashamed to ask, even though now particularly about the speakers, you can still ask the questions. That if you have any questions, if in case you come up with a question now, for the medical students, you can still ask your question. But for now, we're going to go to the business sector, and we're going to have our first speaker from there, Ms. Hara.
Okay, Betty is back, so I think she can respond if she has a better answer.
Okay, Betty, the question was asked, is it possible to do, is it pathology after doing med lab?
Yes, it's possible.
Like in Morocco?
I'm not so sure, but I've heard it's possible.
It's possible.
Mm.
Okay, then, thank you so much. I hope, is it Gregory has gotten his answer? I hope it was clear. Please, the speakers, stay with us in case anybody comes up with a question and they want to really clarify things. Okay, so Ms. Hara, please, you can walk us through economics. Please, you can come through for us. I want to ask you some questions concerning business.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you, but we can't see you. Or is it just me? Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm visible now?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Miss Hara.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming through, Miss Hara.
Thank you. So economics is literally just about the study and creation of wealth and its distribution. Yeah, that's what I could say concerning the course itself. Yeah. And it's very vast actually. It's very.
Did anybody have a question concerning it? How long is the course in Morocco? What were the challenges? Grace Mlinga, yes, you can please ask your question. Great question.
Am I audible?
Let me the question. Yes, you are now.
I wanted to find out about the courses, like for the modules, like what subjects, can you say what subject combinations does economics have?
Very different. Okay, so I'm going to carry you through everything, or not everything, but most of the things. So for first year, we have analyse financière, which is financial analysis, and then we have marketing, we have introduction to economics, we have micro, yeah, and then those are just some for first semester, first year, and then we have in second semester we've got management, we've got marketing too. We also have algebra. Yeah, it's just basics. Like you just learn some of the things you might find that some of the things that you did them in high school. Yeah, so it's not really, it's just a foundation, you know. Yeah, and then for second year, you've got second year you have should be monitor. Yeah, you've got monitor for second year. So there's monitor 1 and there's monitor 2. That's for both. So you have for third semester in second year, you've got monitor 1, and then you've got monitor 2 in the other one. And then you also have should be DOA law, which is law. Yeah, those are just some of them. And then that's for first year and second year. When you do all those modules, you validate all those modules, you get your diploma. Yeah, and then now you got your degree. They actually give you your diploma after you've cleared all your exams for first year and second year. That's your diploma. And then your degree is just like 1 year. Yeah, so you get your degree, which means that you specialize in economics. It's different from the economics back in Zambia, because in Zambia they don't really specialize, it's just economics. Yeah, when they get their degree. But for us, luckily we get to specialize even before we can get our masters. Yeah, so we are at an advantage concerning that because we specialize even before we get our masters. Yeah, I don't know if the majors were talked about during orientation, but I believe we were talked about or mentioned and explained. Yeah, but that's what I can see.
Thank you. I have another question. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, sure.
Could you
So for first,
give,
how many modules do you
I
have?
don't know if it's a brief.
Sorry?
Could you give a brief, I don't know, brief, I can say something short on how to pick the university you're going to study economics? Like which one has like among the best,
Okay.
the best places to learn, best universities and places to learn from economics?
Okay, personally, according to what I've heard in my experience, yeah, and other people's experiences, of course, I would advise someone to apply for Kenitra when it comes to economics, because the system here in Kenitra is actually favorable for economics. Our school system is the best. I would say the best in Morocco, honestly. Yeah, simply because it's more lenient. It favors foreign students more, especially like Anglophones. Yeah, simply it favors foreign students because I don't know how deep the person went with the orientation because I'm not the one that did the orientation video, but I'll just say that Kenitra is more favorable. It has a more favorable system compared to Fez, compared to Rabat. If it's the one that's in Rabat, it's a little bit complicated because I don't know, it favors francophones. The system there is not, it's hard. Yeah, so I'll just tell you that just apply for economics in Kenitra. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, but if you want to go for other towns, though, you can go to other towns. It's just that in Kenitra, you'd actually find more people doing economics too. So you have people to help you. Yeah, but you can also make friends with francophones. You can make friends with other people from other countries. It actually, if you make friends with francophones or Moroccans, it will help you to actually improve on your French. Yeah, don't just stick to Anglophones. Say, okay, I'll just stick to people that can speak English and all that. That's good. Work with your friends, people you're familiar with, but it's also good to get out of your box. So it depends on the type of person that you are. If you know that you can manage and you're very outgoing, you can go for that. You can try different towns and actually make friends. It's very important that you make friends within your course because they'll help you. Don't just work on your own. Depend on other people to help you. Yeah. I hope I answered your question right.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have another question.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as, I don't know, internship for economics?
No, we don't have internship in economics. It's not compulsory. You can do internship, yeah, but it's not compulsory. People actually do internship here in Morocco to avoid doing internship.
Okay.
At least they can do they can just go straight to having a job because they have a record, experience. Yeah, but it's not compulsory. Anything else?
How about language barrier? Is it really like the Arabic? Is it also affecting this course?
No, we don't even have any course in Arabic. Economics is different from ENCG. For ENCG, they have Arabic as a course, but for us, we don't have Arabic as a course. We don't learn Arabic in any way. We don't have to learn Arabic in any way. Yeah, I think even when you're doing internship, if you decide to do internship here in Morocco, you won't really have to do Arabic. You might need to learn basics like how to read and all that, just because you need to get familiar with the environment and make the people that you're working with comfortable and make them feel like, okay, you really want to be here and all that. But since our course is business, we mostly just work with papers, around computing. It's different from other courses, where you have to directly interact with the people that are involved. Yeah. So language barrier for me only came about when I was in first year. Mostly first year, first semester. That's when it came about because I would sit in class and I wouldn't get anything. That's because my French, we came late, so our French wasn't really that good. We didn't have enough time to actually learn French and interact with different people, especially Francophones, to make our French better. Yeah. So it was kind of difficult. I sat in class and I was just lost. Everything was just, I don't know, it was just flying around. They were just words. But as time went by, I actually started to understand and actually listen to what the professor is saying. And my advice for you on this one is that no matter what, you have to, even if you don't understand, even if you feel, you will definitely feel like, okay, I feel really down right now because you're not getting anything, right? The first days. But as time goes by, you get to actually hear what the professor is saying. It's through going to class that you'll be able to actually learn the French and listen to what the professor is saying. Yeah. And for us in economics here in Kenitra, I don't know about other towns, but in Kenitra, classes are not compulsory. You can miss class there's no register. You can miss class the whole semester and no one is going to follow you or anything. But as a student, you have to know, okay, I'm serious. I want to learn French. I want to do this, especially for first year. Like, just attend all your classes, wake up early, even though you know that, okay, there's no register, no one is going to hunt me down. Just attend all your classes, because through that you get to interact with francophones. People want to talk to you. Oh, you're new here, welcome to Morocco, this and that. And then you actually get to make friends through attending classes. Yeah, that's the only time that I've faced language barrier. And sometimes some professors who actually use Arabic. Yeah, there's some professors who are just, I don't know. Yeah, they'll use Arabic when they know that they're African students that probably don't understand any Arabic, but you have to tolerate that. You have to harden your heart to say, okay, let me just forget about this. They'll make you feel like you're in a foreign country for real, like this is not your place, but you just have to sit there and know what you're there for. Yeah. And it's not like they use Arabic throughout. They'll be mixing some Arabic words because they just want their own students to understand things better, because there's some Moroccans that don't actually speak French that well. Yeah. Any other question?
Last question.
Mm-hmm.
Last question. And about banking and finance and economics, is there any relation between the two?
What do you mean? Like banking and finance? Like as a major?
No, as in economics and banking. Like, is it like you can do economics and banking and finance, or they're almost the same thing, or there is some connection somewhere?
Okay, so I'm guessing that concerning the majors, that's for our degrees now. When we go to our final year, third year, we have human resource, we have marketing, we have finance, and then that's under what you have just from asking, finance. And then we have contability, which is accounts, management. That's what I'm doing right now. And then we also have logistics and transport. Yeah, if I've missed out any, I don't know, but I don't think I have. Yes, so those are the ones that we have. So you can, when you get your diploma, that's after first and second year, you can measure into either any of those, so that you can measure into economics, like just economics, the way the Zambians do it. Yeah, except ours is a little bit more specialized, because we specialize before we actually get our degree, unlike the ones in Zambia. Yeah, and then we also have finance management. Yeah, that one is it's more of what you have just said. So you can either decide to continue with the pathway of economics, since our diploma is economics, and then so you can decide whether you want finance, whether you want this and that and that and that. Yeah, they're different, in short.
Thank you.
Yeah, so finance is just it's a branch of economics, because economics is like the foundation for us, and then finance is a major, but economics is also a major in as much as it's a foundation, if you know what I mean.
I have another last question about the textbooks. Are they easily available, or the textbooks used for economics?
We have polycopies, which are like printed out, I wouldn't say leaflets, like, yeah, no, not leaflet. Leaflet is like a single paper. Printed out notes, yeah, that the professor, like, it could be in a PDF. You could either have it on soft copy, or you could print it out, or you could buy it at school, which is already printed out. Yeah, so you could work whichever one you work best with. But they're not really textbooks. Some professors and some courses that you might take along the way do have textbooks, and some don't, like an actual textbook. Yeah, those the normal ones. But most of them are just printed out notes. Yeah, and they're readily available at the faculty. You could get them, or someone can send them to you on soft copy, and you can work with that. You don't really have to buy every single time. And they're quite affordable if you choose to buy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question?
I think I've seen a question in the comment box. I think it's from Grace, and she was asking about the difference between economics and ENCG. Maybe we'll leave that for the next speaker just to kill time, because I wanted you to talk about one last thing, which is she's Miss Hara, as she said, she has a YouTube channel. Maybe trying to market, doing some marketing of your YouTube channel. We are students. But I say, exactly. So she has a YouTube channel. So the question that I wanted to ask you is, how do you manage to have, is it fun, your YouTube channel, entertainment plus school matched together? How is that possible?
Well, for my school, I would say I have the time. Like, honestly, for economics, I do have the time. Yeah. And I think YouTube is not really something that would take up much of your time. Like, for you to film a video, it takes you about an hour. Yeah, like within an hour, you can film a video, a sensible video. Yeah. So there's, in as much as we are studying, there's also time for not just economics, just because I have time in economics, but just generally, whatever course you're doing, you can ask someone doing pharmacy, you can ask someone doing medicine, they'll tell you that they actually have fun and they actually live a life of a good student, a healthy life, whereby they're not only just studying, but they're actually enjoying what they're doing and they're staying here in Morocco. Because there are so many activities, people travel, people have fun, and there's actually time to do that. Yeah, you just have to plan well.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Okay, also just wanted to involve in the entertainment part as people are learning about school stuff, because you're coming here and they'll be seeing some stuff. Okay, how does she do that? How does she manage school and also having fun at the same time? All right, Miss Hara, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you
Thank you so much for answering our questions. Exactly, you still have to be here in case anybody else wants to learn more. Just that for now, I would want now to invite Miss Christine Wamba to come and tell us about ENCG, to walk us through, to answer our questions, and in case there's anything that was left. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, fine. How are you doing?
I'm sorry about the lighting.
We can see you. Yes, so Miss Wamba is here, everybody. Anybody doing ENCG who was given ENCG? I keep making the same mistake saying doing ENCG. Anyone who was given ENCG? Yes, Naomi, please, you can ask your questions. She's here. And maybe I will want you, Ms. Wamba, to start with, there's the question that was asked, what's the difference between ENCG and economics? And then Naomi can also ask her question.
Okay, so I think there are quite a number of differences between ENCG and economics. First of all, the duration. Economics is done for 3 years and ENCG is done in a period of 5 years. And once you're done with ENCG, you have a master's according to the Moroccan system. So once you reach your fourth year, you start to specialize in your 4th year. And once you start that specialty, you have officially started your master's. It's a one-way master's. There's no break, there's no pause, there's no need for reapplication for a master's. It's straight master's. So I think the main difference is you finish with a master's and the duration for ENCG is longer than economics.
The person that asked the question, I hope you're clear on that. So now we can go ahead and ask the question.
Am I audible enough?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So my first question is, before you went to Casablanca, you were in Fez. Why did you choose ENCG Fez from the 10 cities that you mentioned? Is it because it's better than the others, or they offer better or quality education on ENCG than the others? What was your main reason?
The main reason why I went to Fez, or why I chose Fez, was because I knew I could get help from there. Actually, because if you follow ranking, I don't think Fez comes out as the first ENCG school. I think maybe the first one could be Setat or Agadi or one of those, I'm not sure. But I went there because I knew that there were people there who could help me, because I knew that, okay, I wasn't so fluent in the French and I didn't understand something. So I needed people to help me. And most of the people who could help me were people who were in Fez. Because by then, like most of the people that were doing ENCG went to Fez. So that's why I chose Fez, not because it's the best, but it's because I found out that's where people could actually help me. And I actually did get help, which was very helpful.
Okay, another question.
Yeah.
For the Conco, do you pay any fee to write the Conco, and how are they?
For the concours, you actually don't pay any fee. You just apply, and if you're chosen to write the concours, then you're chosen and you write it. You asked another question, right?
Did you pay for the concours?
Yes.
Yeah, like, did you ask another question apart from the payment for the concours?
Yes, I said how were they?
Oh, how were they? They were not hard. It's basically just what you did previously from in your first year and your second year. So if you study what you did in your first year and your second year, then you're good to go for the concours. It's not hard at all.
And then for when do you get to do your stage, and do you find for yourself or the school helps you?
Okay, so you start stage from your third year and it's compulsory. It adds up to your final grade. And the school gives you a paper to help you find stage, but you go out to the enterprises yourself, to the companies yourself, and deposit your CV, your resume, and your cover letter, right? Your cover letter. But the school will just give you a paper to say that, okay, this is our student, and our student is looking for stage. It's not like the person is just looking for a job and whatnot. So they give you a paper to say that, okay, this person is looking for a stage, and it just helps you to find stage, knowing that, okay, this girl is from this school, she's doing this course and that kind of thing. But you physically go to the companies and you deposit your CV, you deposit your cover letter, and if you're chosen, you go for interviews. It's pretty much just like a job. It's pretty much just like looking for a job, because when they look through your profile, you go for interviews. If you impress them for interviews, then you get hired. Stage normally at the ENCG is for 1 month, but for the ISCA it's 2 months.
Do you do your stage during the summer vacation or during the normal school calendar?
No, you don't do it during the school calendar. You do your stage after you're done with the semester. So summer is for us, ENCG and ISCA is about 3-4 months. So you can choose to do it anytime, as long as you do it for 2 months or 1 month, depending on whether you're at the ENCG or you're at the ISCA. So you just do it during your summer break. It's more advisable to do it right after your exams. So the best thing to do is, like, while you're still doing the semester, you start applying so that once you get your internship or your stage, then you just start immediately. You're done with exams, because it's not quite easy to find stage, because there are many people looking for it. Because you can imagine there are like about 10 ENCG schools, and that's just ENCG. There are more business schools, like private business schools. There's economics, there's ISCO, and all those kinds of things. So all those are looking for stage around companies. So it's not all that easy, but at the end of the day, you find something, because finance is pretty much anywhere, as I said.
Miss Hara, who was presenting on economics, said they don't have registers for their classes. How about ENCG? How is it?
ENCG does have a register. Every teacher marks the register every time that you go there. I said that it's a ENCG is an école, so it's like a restricted number of people in a class. It's supposed to be a smaller number, but it happens to be quite big once you go there. But they do take they do mark the register, sorry. And if you miss 3 times for one subject, you won't write the final exams, you write the recurring exams, le rattrapage. I hope that's clear.
Yes, yes.
Anybody else that has a question? Okay, I have a question for Miss Christine, Miss Wamba. I wanted you to help us with something. So, do you go to church? It's a question I have.
101% yes.
So how do you manage to do church? How easy is it to do church with school, you know? Because most of us, I don't know how your program is, how tight it is. So then how do you manage to manage church and school at the same time? How do you manage to do the things together?
I don't know. I think when people come here, they find church to be like a burden because it's like, oh my God, I don't understand. I need to work extra hard. Oh my God, the French. Oh, there's this to do, there's this to catch up with, and all those kinds of things. But I feel like for me, I started to get integrated into church when I was in my French year, when I was learning the French course, you know. And I don't know, because really, if you don't find yourself rooted into a church, it's easy to stagger around and you don't really know what you're doing. And you don't really find your faith, because once you believe that, okay, God can actually get me through this, you actually believe in him for anything, pretty much anything, and he'll actually get you through. I don't believe that me going through all these years was because like, oh yeah, she's smart and whatnot. I believe that God actually helped me, because I would go to church even though I'm having exams the next day. Like I have exams on Monday, but I would still be there at church and I'll be doing what I'm supposed to do at church. I don't know, maybe you sing, maybe you, I don't know, something like that. But it's possible to handle all of them, and it's preferable, it's advisable, it is the best thing to do both of them at the same time. You not go wrong.
Exactly. So it was just one thing I wanted you also to bring to the attention of the students, the French students who are coming to school, because we don't know how things are run there. We don't know whether it's really important, like whether church is really important. And because I've heard some of the students, old students in Morocco say it's pretty difficult, you know, to go to church and handle school at the same time. I have French, I have to do like put in like double input in the work. I have to learn the subjects themselves and plus the French also to getting to understand the French also. It's kind of like too much work for me to also put change on it. So I was just hoping that you could clarify that for us. And thank you for coming through and showing us and telling us that it's actually really possible to do school, and a school like yours, which has a register where you have to be at school 24/7 and you don't have to miss a class and still have time for school. We are really grateful to hear it from somebody who has made it and also put change together with school. We thank you so much for coming through. You can now give us your general advice for closing. What's your general advice to ask the students who are coming? Yeah. No, not closing as in the session, for your own part. Like, what's your general advice to ask the students just to encourage us and to motivate us as we prepare to come to Morocco?
What I would say, yeah, put God first, of course, and intentionally fall in love with the language, French, because once you get through with the language, everything else becomes easy. Like, because people find French as a burden, like, oh my God, how do you do this? How do you do this? Like, it becomes frustrating once you can't get it, but actually make up your mind to fall in love with the language. Try to learn it, try to, practice it. Read books, watch movies, listen to songs, even though you don't understand it, and just try to get the language come out of you. Try to get the French accent. Don't try to speak French with an English accent. Listen to how the French say it, imitate them until you actually make it. And once you find out that you actually understand the language, it will be very easy to go through anything, because that's really like the main barrier when you come into Morocco. It's the language. So once you get bypassed that whole language barrier and that whole thing, then you're, quite frankly, you're good to go. I don't think you, okay, yeah, maybe you might find some other difficulties, but for the language and being in class, that one won't be, it won't be bad. Because in class, one of the things actually for the ENCG and the ISCO, one of the things that are highly advised is participation. Actually talking in class. If you're too quiet in class, a teacher will point you out. At a certain point, maybe you don't even know the answer, but they'll just point you out because you just really don't talk. So they'll just say, okay, what's the answer? You who's sitting there behind in a red coat, like, you know, what's the answer? And you'll be like, I don't know. So it's good to just learn to practice. Don't be afraid to make mistakes in class. They know. They themselves, the Moroccans, they make mistakes in class. They are, you know, their French is not au top, like it's no wow, but they know it. But don't be afraid to make mistakes in class. After all, you leave Morocco and no one will remember you. So just learn, really.
All right, thank you so much for coming through, Mr. Christine Womba. We highly appreciate the advice and the information that you gave us. Please stay with us, just in any case somebody still has a question, maybe we'll leave that at the end, but please stay with us. Thank you so much for coming through.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so Miss Hara, there's a question for you before we just now move to, is it computer sciences and GGM? There's engineering courses. There's a question for you. I don't know if you've seen it, just before we completely go to the next phase of question for Ms. Hara. You've seen it, or do you want me to read it? All right.
What do you have to get a master's in economics since you did years, and what is the name of the school or faculty? Okay, so the name of my school is Ibn Tufal. Yeah, it's an Arabic name. That's the name of my school. And then for you to actually get a master's in economics, you have to reapply because it's not a direct master's course like ENCG. Yeah, so you have to reapply. You have to redo everything. Yeah.
Okay, I hope D, your question has been answered. Okay, so we're going to now go to the engineering part, and our first speaker in that part will be, is it Rapson, Mr. Rapson Piri? Please come through for us.
Yeah.
And
Can you get me?
yes, we can. Thank you. Okay, so just introduce yourself.
Morning and afternoon, everyone. My name is Rapson Piri, and I'm in my second year of computer science at EST Casablanca. So, yeah, I'm ready for your questions, if any.
All right, my fellow students, French students, here is Rapson. People that are interested in computer sciences, engineering, and all that stuff, you can ask questions.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Like, is that computer engineering that side?
Yeah, the thing is, actually, when you come here, it's called computer engineering, but there's really no difference here at my school, or let me just say in Morocco. The two are used interchangeably, so whether you call it computer science or computer engineering, is pretty much the same thing. But yeah, when you come here at my school, it's called computer engineering, but it's the same thing as computer science.
So like in terms of learning coding and programming and everything, like how do you do it?
Okay, so you learn a number of languages. In first year, I think you do web development. In second year, there are languages like Java and others, but you don't really go deep. You just do the basics. You just scratch the basics, and the rest, if you want to go deep or advanced, like it's up to you. You're on your own.
You said you're in what year?
Second.
Oh, second. So like, let's say you finish, by the time you're done, so you won't know any like programming that can take you somewhere like really, really far.
Unfortunately, no. You won't do like the advanced programming that will be like something that will enable you to create, let's say, like the big applications or anything like that. It's just really the basics. I think mostly they focus on networking. So it's really good for networking, but for programming, just do the basics.
So like when you finish your course, what can you do? Like what can you venture and what jobs can you go for and everything?
When you finish your secondary, since the duration is 2 years, so you can start working. You have a diploma after 2 years, you can start working immediately if you want, or you can go for a degree or master's. And there are various fields. You can go into software engineering, web development, data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, game development, network administration, telecoms, database administration, cybersecurity, ethical hacking, security architecture, and many others.
So like computer engineering at CBU, Copper University is 5 years. So is there a difference between that computer engineering at CBU and the one you're doing that side?
I did the comparison with my friend at CBU, and there is not much difference. It's just the order in which you do the modules. Like some things we do in first year here, they do them in second or third year that side, and vice versa. So, but it's pretty much the same. And according to the guys at CBU, you don't really specialize for a degree. You just have a bachelor's degree in computer engineering. But here you get to choose what you want to specialize in for a degree.
So like how long is the whole program? You said 2 years for diplomas.
It's 2 years, 2 years compulsory. After that, it's up to you whether to stop and start working or continue with your degree, which is 1 year, but I guess it will be 2 years under the new system. Or you can do your master's, which is 3 years.
Which is 5 years in total now, right?
Yeah, 5 years in total.
Okay.
Sorry, Gibson, what course were you given?
Computer engineering.
The same. Okay. All right, so we have Ndashe Yumba who has a question, who has raised his hand. Please, you can speak.
In Morocco, are there schools for like ethical hacking or penetration testing? Can I get a certificate?
There are schools that deal with ethical hacking and cybersecurity for your license. But I think I've only seen one. I think I included it in my video. I can't remember. But I think I've only come across one. And then there are other schools, of course, that offer it, but they're private schools, so maybe you would have to pay for those.
All right.
So like, are you also going to do an internship or maybe you just don't do them?
Yeah, so internships, you do internships every year. Or your first year, you do your internships in summer, so that's 1 month. Second year, you do them in the last 2 months of the last semester of second year. And you have to find the internships on your own. And for the one in second year, like the school calls some companies, so you can interview with some companies, but it's not a guarantee that you're going to get an internship after interviewing with those companies. And one other thing is that if you can't find an internship, the school will probably just give you a project to work on. But the benefit of doing it from a company is that you're going to get 2 extra marks. And that's a lot, 2 extra marks. But if you do it from school, then you won't get those 2 extra marks. So,
yeah. So I have a question, but I'm not sure if you. Let's say you decide not to go to university and you decide to do freelance work. It's like, okay, my question is the degree worth it? which one is better? Freelance work where you teach yourself and everything, then you start getting freelance jobs, or going that side, passing through everything, learning physics that you don't really.
I think you can do both. You can do both. I'm doing both. I'm learning. I'm teaching myself on the side, also doing a bit of freelance work. So yeah, you can do both. I think it's worth it. The degree is worth it because some companies won't just accept you without a degree. So it's still worth it. Even though they can accept you without a degree, but it's worth it, I think.
Okay. You are at the Rapston, you are the computer science. Is it done at an EST or?
Yeah, so I'm doing it at an AST. You can do it
Okay.
through a faculty where you do
Okay.
2 years of class preparatoire, and then it's only in the third year where you actually do computer science. So I think that's a disadvantage, not to talk down on faculties, but at the EST it's direct entry since from first year.
Okay, I don't know who ZASAM Central is, but ZASAM Central has raised the hand. Please, you may speak.
Oh, I just realized that I'm logged in as ZASAM Central. Sorry, this is Charles.
All right.
Yeah, so Robson, if you were to advise these guys who are about to go into the EST, if they want to do some work beforehand, what would you recommend they start learning now? Like what programming languages, or what would you recommend they do beforehand?
For school, just for school purposes, it can do some basic algebra, let me just say math in general. And programming, yeah, you can start learning. There are a lot of resources on YouTube. You can start teaching yourself some web development or programming in general, learning programming languages, and also try to do practical stuff. Like don't just do the theory, but try to make apps with what you're learning. And yeah, I think it will be a plus for you when you come here. I don't know if I've answered your question, Charles.
Oh yes, so since you've advised, like the question that Mr. Charles just asked, since you've advised that they start learning stuff on YouTube, is it also, can we also rely on you since you're our people? We need you. So can we call you? Can we have your number so that you can at least walk us through these modules? Can you help us prepare as we come? Maybe send us a few polycopies, PDFs, or something like that. Are you available to teach us also? Because it's like we're coming to do the stuff that you are doing. Can we count on you?
Yeah, you can count on me. That's like on the software part, because I'm not so much into networking or hardware. So if it's some software related stuff, and a bit of math, not so much math, a bit of math, yeah, you can contact me. I'm available.
Okay, so my fellow students, my fellow French students, I hope you've heard that. For any help, in case you want to start preparing for school now, like getting into the work itself, you can actually also contact him and he's going to guide you through and maybe teach you a few things here and there. All right, Mr. Rapson, thank you so much for coming through, for answering our questions. We've learned quite a lot from you. We are really, really grateful, but stay with us just in case anybody would want to ask any other question. Thank you so much. Okay, for now, we're going to go to our last speaker. Thank you so much to everybody, to all the speakers who've spoken, for coming through, and for each and every person who is right here listening. And even though you're not asking questions, but at least I know you are learning something from what everybody else is talking about. We're going to have our last speaker for today's session, who is Mr. Charles Kalandula, aka Mr. Charlie Talks. Please, you may come through for us.
Thank you very much, SG. I hope my camera is good because, like you see, it's disappointing me. Yeah, so I hope you guys are good. My name is Charles. Yeah, my name is Charles Onkalandula, and I'm talking to you guys about GGM, or rather responding to your questions about GGM. So I already made video because I went through GGM also. I'm in my third, I'm doing lessons. So I'm going to begin with the questions that were sent in the group before interacting. Someone asked, one change from GGM to NSAM is out of our control. What's the procedure? For this question, I would like to know, I don't know if the person that asked this question is present. The person with us?
Yeah, the person is with us.
Okay, Mano, you're here. Do you mean at the beginning, like before you start, like when you guys just come this year, can you change, or you meant when you start your program, it's possible to transfer after you've already started? Can you just clarify?
Yes, at the beginning.
Yes, at the beginning you can change. At the beginning, it's possible to move from any course to another, depending on AMSI. It all depends on AMSI if they are willing to give you that program. Yeah, you can change from GGM to NSAM. There's no problem. The next question is, for GGM Tangier start, what's the way to go? And in is, what universities of choice are there? Or maybe each of them has only one university. So to begin with, what's the way to go? Once again, it's through AMSI. You just apply for the city. So you tell them GGM, if you want to go to GGM, city Tangier, and to come to start, you say GGM start. Or you can put both of them in order depending on which one you want to go for first or which one you want more. Then I'm going to decide where they'll take you. In terms of the university, each city only has one faculty. So if you put GGM, you'll be going to faculty in Tangier. There's only one. If you put GGM start, you'll be coming at the faculty here in start, the FST in start, and there's only one. So that's the procedure. I hope I've responded to these questions properly. I think they were all from Emmanuel. Yeah.
Okay, so the question that was asked.
But I'll advance.
Okay.
So the next question is, does GGM also have concours? And if so, the answer to this question is yes. GGM has concours, so you do your TS, class preparatoire, or your DIST. When you get your diploma, you can write concours to go into various fields that are in line with the modules that we do in GGM. Because the thing in Morocco is, the system here is very, it's quite flexible, moving from one school to another easier than in ZAM. But what's important is that you have the right subject on your paper. So when you apply for a concours at a certain school, a certain program, you first look at the subjects that you've done in your first 2 years. Are they in line with the modules you'll be doing in that course that you want to write the concours for? So for courses or the programs that you have access to with GGM diploma, courses that are in line with the modules that have GGM. So it has to do with mechanics, like things like mechatronic, mechanical engineering, and that stuff that's in the mechanics department. Stuff to do with electricity, electronics. We also have access to those schools with no problems. We also have access to civil engineering, apparently, as baffling as that is. Yeah, but you can still apply for a concours in civil engineering. We also have access to computer engineering, just from being about. Again, as baffling as that is, also, you can still apply for that program. As I said, the system is very, very flexible. So to summarize, the programs that you can go for from GGM are really vast. They are wide. I can't go on listing them. But what I can say is things that have to do with physics, you know, the electricities, the mechanics, the electronics stuff, civil engineering, mechatronics, all those programs, you you can go into them. And there's a lot of programs apparently, because you hear someone telling you, no, I did a concours, I'm now doing Génie Industriel, or I did a concours, I'm now doing this program. There's really a lot. What's as important is that the modules you have are in line with the modules they'll be offering at that school. You won't have any problems. For GGM, is there any other question? Okay, so these were the only questions that were posted in the group. I hope I have responded to them properly. I'll now allow you guys to ask questions if you have any about GGM. Or life in STAT, life at the faculty in STAT. I'll gladly respond.
Okay, let me use this opportunity.
I have a question.
This is another, okay, you will go ahead.
How likely is it that we'll be in the new system?
Sorry?
How likely is it that we'll be in the new system as juniors?
How likely? Let me see. Honestly, I'm also not sure, because last year, or should I say this academic year, we thought they were going to implement the new system at the FST, but apparently they haven't. So details are a little bit fuzzy, or maybe it's just me who hasn't looked into the issue. Yeah, I'm not so sure. But either way, the differences would be much. I think the courses you have are going to be almost the same, so it won't really change much.
And then in Tangier, you said there are some new modules. So does that advantage them?
Sorry?
You said in Tangier there are some new modules. Does that put them to an advantage or the same?
It's only an advantage if those modules are in line with what you want to do. So if, let's say, you are someone who's interested, the extra modules in Tangier have to do with mechanics, you know. So if you're someone who's interested in mechanics, when you go to Tangier, you have more options in the mechanics department. The courses you have available to choose from for you, you have more options. But let's say you want to do electrical engineering or something related to electricity, it won't make much of a difference to you because those modules are mechanical modules. So it all depends on what you want to do, you know, like what course you want to specialize in at the end of it all.
And then the Arabic barrier that others were talking about, how is it in GGM?
No, you won't feel it. Most of our professors they teach in French. I think the only time you feel the barrier is maybe just feeling left out at school, you know, because all your friends are discussing in Arabic and whatnot. So you're just feeling lost in class because you're not understanding anything that's happening around you. But when it comes to the academics, professors teaching their explanations, no, they usually do it in French. Of course, we have those few exceptions, the culprits, the professors that drift to Arabic. Yeah, and sometimes it's irritating, but it's not a significant factor that you should worry about.
Right. And then you talked about, apart from the science program, you talked about, is it science engineer? The one where you go directly into masters. Apart from the science program, you talked about Sankre engineer. I don't know if that's what it is.
Cycle d'engineer.
Can you just
cycle d'engineer. Oh yes.
How is it?
So the cycle d'engineer. I was responding to some questions about concours. That's what concours are for. Concours is what's going to be engineer. So after you do your 2 years GGM and you get your diploma, schools offer concours into the cycle engineer. So you can write as many concours as you want, depending on what you want to do. And when you actually face those concours and are selected, you will be directly admitted into the cycle d'ingénieur. I think the cycle is a bit more advantageous than doing a licence because cycle d'ingénieur, Morocco, it's a bit more respected, I should say. So people in the cycle are treated with more care, with more attention. It's like people in licence get second priority, and the cycle is a bit more respected, I should say. If you are in the Moroccan system or you want to get a job in Morocco and you show them that no, you are in cycle d'ingénieur and you got your degree there, I think it's going to carry more weight than someone who first did their licence and then they did a master's. It's quite respected, I should say. But at the end of it all, it's almost the same thing, and especially for us who are in Zambia, because when you go to Zambia, they will both be translated as master's degrees, whether you got it from the cycle d'ingénieur or whether you got it from a licence and then went on to do a master's degree. They will both be translated as a master's degree. So I feel this only carries weight while you are in the Moroccan system. When to go out of the French system, it's level ground.
Okay, so if you get it under license, is it still going to be continuous scholarship or you start sponsoring yourself?
That's a question that the people in the executive respond to, like the Secretary General. They're the ones that handle names and fixing and whatnot.
All right. So the question is, I think I read the question, do you still get paid after for your masters? So the thing is that we're going to be good students, good people. When you're signing those documents under BC, you sign them under, it's just a degree. That's just the first thing maybe I'll talk about. When you're signing the loans, you guys who are even coming under loan, they give you only for your degree. So for your masters, automatically we're going to think that you pay for yourself. You have to sponsor your masters. I hope that's clear, because you're coming under a degree, and what they are going to just pay for is your degree, and that's what you signed for. So your masters, you sort yourself out.
Fortunately for you guys who are on loans.
Then let's talk about internship.
Oh, yes, internship. So the faculty is quite flexible. Well, it might be an advantage and disadvantage, but when it comes to internship, the first 2 years in your GGM program, internship is it's optional. If you can find something, you do it. If you don't want to do it, no one is obliging you to do it. The only time you're obliged to do an internship is in your 3rd year during your licence. That's when you have to do an internship before graduating. This one is obligatory. If you cannot find an internship, as is the problem with many in Morocco, because a lot of people are actually looking for internships, be given a project. The school will give you a project that you can work on. Yeah, and then you write the report and you do your presentation and whatnot. But yes, you only do an obligatory internship, a stage in your 3rd year. The first 2 years are optional. Many people don't do them, but there's a few that manage to find and actually do internships their first 2 years.
Does your school, your faculty get you the stage, or you have to find the stage yourself?
Ideally speaking, you have to find the stage yourself. But then there are professors that are gracious enough to help students, especially foreign students, find stage. Fortunately for us in my class, because a normal licence class has less than 50 students. And so it's easy for the school to help those guys find an internship. But in my class, unfortunately, this year, we were 133 students. So the school just told us, I'm sorry, you guys are on your own. We're not helping anyone find internship this year. You have to find your own internship. So this year, we had no help. But other people in other programs, like I have a friend in mechatronics, his professor helped him find an internship. And other guys also say their professors help him find things. But in my program, they completely neglected us. But it's some of they said, guys on your own, find your own internships. There are too many.
All right, as Mr. Charlie Talks, as I said, he's also known as Mr. Charlie Talks. Okay. We are remaining since normally we're supposed to end with our program at 11:30, but Mwachi started late. So we're supposed to only debode by 15 minutes, but number, I'll just give maybe extra 4 minutes for the people that have raised their hands.
4 minutes.
Just 4 minutes.
Okay.
4
There's
minutes.
a question in the chat.
Yeah.
Which faculty is in Danje? I don't get the question exactly, Emmanuel. Maybe you can shed more light. Like, what do you mean by
Maybe the
which
name of the
faculty is in
faculty.
Danje? Is it the name of the school or
The name?
the name? I don't know its exact name. If you want to look it up, just search FST Danje. They'll bring you the name. Yeah, right. FST Danje. In the the PowerPoint presentation I sent you guys, links at the end to both websites of the FST start and the FST Danje. So just check that PowerPoint presentation. On the last page, you find links to the page for the two schools. You can look up whatever you want to find there, the modules, the courses, and extra information that might be valuable. Yeah. And you find the name of the school there also.
All right. There's a person that raised their hand. So maybe you can ask your question quickly. Make it very brief. Is it?
Yes, I have a question. I just want to know, like, how much exposure do you get doing practical works as engineers, or does the theoretical work just outweighs the practical work?
Okay. Speaking objectively, I think the first 2 years are not very practical, or how practical they are depends on how you look at it yourself, like that extra effort you put in to try and make your work practical. Because it's a general program, like you have Genie Electric, Genie Mechanic, Electrical and Mechanical Engineering. I think that mixture there makes it kind of theoretical, so to say. We have practicals, we do practicals, obligatory practicals, but even they are not very, very practical, or a few of them are very, very practical. I think the most practical was informatics part, that one you feel, okay, yeah, I'm learning how to program, I'm getting a hang of this. The rest of the stuff is not very, very practical. When it gets really practical is when you specialize your license is going to be very, very practical. So I guess that's a good part about it. It starts out theoretical because it's general and it's the basic stuff. Then as you advance, as you start going into the nitty-gritty, you start getting deep into the meat. That's getting practical. So by the time you are graduating, you would have already been exposed enough as an engineer in the field you are in.
All right.
Yeah.
I hope that was clear. The person that asked. I will not wish I will just have to give you an opportunity as Mr. Charlie Talks to just say one or few things, encourage us and, motivate us. Just your encouragement, your advice, your general advice to us as students as Mr. Charlie Talks.
Thank you for giving me the platform. I love this. I live for this. Okay, I'm sure you guys have heard Twiza addressing me as Mr. Charlie Talks. So the reason for that is that I have a page on Facebook, Charlie Talks. Please feel free to check it out. I give academic advice. It's going to be helpful, especially that I have studied in Morocco, like you guys come and study in Morocco. So I give tips there. Anyway, coming to the advice, I have been following and a lot of people have said a lot of things. So I am not going to bore you guys by repeating some of the things that were said, like learn the language, learn the French. Very, very important. That I'm just going to dwell on one important detail that I feel costs many. It's your confidence. Okay, I think coming into a new system, learning in a new language, many of the things seem new, and it's got that effect of making you feel blank, making you feel dumb, or maybe because it takes you longer than normal to understand certain things. Because in Zambia, I'm sure many of you were killing it by the geniuses. Then you come to Morocco, because it's a new system, information is presented differently, even though it's the same information, it's presented differently. It's presented in a new language. You feel as though maybe you have lost it. And that demoralizes you, it discourages you, And when you're demoralized and discouraged, you don't work efficiently. And that usually gets into the way of people's performance. Others go into really scared, very, very nervous. And what they end up doing is missing their exams. Things that they knew, they fail to respond to, or they fail to do simple calculations that they would normally do because of how scared they are. It costs many. So what I can tell you guys is maintain your confidence. You are still the you were in Zambia. You are still the bright student you were in Zambia. I'm sure for you to be selected to come to Morocco, you are obviously smart. You're obviously good at math. You're obviously good at physics. For those of you coming GGM, you're obviously good at these things. So don't forget that when you come here, even if the things being presented to you look different, even if they're taking you longer than normal to understand, just maintain that confidence. I think that's what's helped me, because at least I managed to remain confident. It really helped me. I also made the mistake of starting out really scared. I was nervous. And I could also it going down because of that fear. And I think it was actually Twiza that encouraged me, that told me, but what are you scared of? Have you written an exam at the FST? Have you failed an exam at the FST? You haven't. So why are you scared? What are you scared of? Why are you letting people demoralize you? And I was like, I didn't understand. So I heard what she said and I followed. So I opened up my mind. I opened up my mind to receive information that was being presented to me, to try and learn it and understand it. And I realized that there's nothing really difficult about this. It's actually easy, very easy to validate. In Morocco, it's very, very, very easy to pass. I'm telling you, I can assure you this, and I'm not lying to you guys, just to try to motivate you and all that stuff. It's easy. The moment you just understand the system in Morocco, the moment you open up your mind, maintain your confidence, and to put in the right amount of work, you realize just how easy it is for you to actually make it. So confidence, guys, please, confidence. Guys, we're starting your summer lessons soon. Those lessons have two possible effects. It's either they prepare you or they scare you. And for many, unfortunately, it's the scaring that they get. Because the summer lessons are not so clear. People get zeros on the practice tests and whatnot. They're going to the faculty scared, really, really scared. And when they get, because they already have that conceived idea, predetermined idea that school in Morocco is hard, it actually becomes hard for them. So it's not hard. It's just stuff being presented in a different way. Just have that at the back of your minds. It's the same physics, it's the same math. It's just being presented in a different way. So just remain confident and you will not have any problems. Confidence, guys. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Actually, what he actually talked about was what the only advice I actually had for you. For you guys, my fellow students who are coming on the very part of being scared, you're coming to Morocco, you're going to meet a lot of us, your seniors. You're going to meet people who've gone through different experiences, of course. You're going to meet people whose school was very hard for, people whose school was very easy for. But as he said, unfortunately, we meet those that school was very hard for more often than we meet those that school was maybe quite easy. But to put it all together, I don't think there's any course we can grade to be very easy or any course that we can grade to be very hard with the right application of your discipline. And I'll beg you, regardless of what you're going to hear, everybody has a different story to write. Just because I think even as I spoke with Charles the day we met in the bibliothèque, I told him Just because a senior has talked to you about, will be giving you advice. Yes, of course, school is hard, but just because somebody that is talking to you has had a reserve, just because the people that are talking to you have had to repeat school twice, does not necessarily mean that you should also repeat school. Does not necessarily mean that it's a must that whoever goes through that path or that course must also go through a reserve. Many of us go to the faculties with a lot of information, and at the end of it, because of that fear, we go to school already defeated in our mind, and that's all it takes for you to go and fail, actually. If you are defeated in your mind, you go to school, you're scared because that senior had a reserve. Who am I not to have a reserve? That person came with 6 points, but still they had to repeat school twice or whatsoever. What about me or anything? That's all it takes for you to fail. You all have a different story to write. My story will not always be your story. Anybody's story will never be your story. So come determined. I like the speaker that talked about self-determination. You always have people. There'll always be people to encourage you. There'll always be asked to tell you how school has been, how the school system has been, study the school system and whatsoever, but your self-motivation, have the confidence, and don't just be scared of anything. Be courageous enough to face anything. So long as you've not written any exam, again, I'm going to say this, don't be scared of anything, because what it takes you to fail is that defeat in your mind. Once you're defeated in your mind, you are gone. Your story or whatever stories you're going to ever hear, when you come to Morocco, you've been hearing, they're not your stories. You can learn from people's lives. It is very important to learn their mistakes, even from the people that have had to repeat their courses. You get to ask them. I'm not asking you to look down on anybody, but you get to ask them what went wrong. Why did you have to repeat a course? Because I believe in life, you can learn from everybody. You can learn from those that are succeeding. You can learn from those that have made mistakes. So you ask them what were the mistakes that they made that they had to actually repeat a year. Heed to the advice and apply yourself. Yes, there's going to be double work maybe that will be required from each one of you guys because it is French. They've told you about how you should get acquainted with the language and everything. There's going to be double work for you, yes, because you have to understand the French before maybe you get to understand what actually the module is talking about or the course is talking about. But work in all the confidence and the boldness that God has given you. Miss Christian talked about how God is important in everything. You come here, don't be people that feel people that feel church is going to be a burden, or I got this, because there's going to be pressure. It is true. But be people that are diligent in everything that you're doing. If it is time for church, do what you have to do for church. When it's time for school, you get to study so that you don't have to see church as a burden, because you really need God, more especially in this place. You really need God in everything to guide you, for protection and for everything. Remove the fear, get the advice that you can get, and come with all boldness to come and conquer, because if they can't repeat you guys, because they truly, yes, believed in you guys to come and conquer. And I personally believe that you guys are going to make it. I believe you're going to come to Morocco and write your own story and walk in the footsteps that God has already actually predestined each one of you to walk through. So I wish you all the very best, and allow me to thank all the speakers that came through, that stayed with us from the beginning to the end. It was quite some few hours, a lot of hours that we spent here discussing all these things. I hope it was really helpful for each one of you guys. I hope you've learned even just one thing. And you still have maybe contacts. I don't know if you have contacts for those people that are for the speakers, but you can still get in touch with the president. I'm sure you know the president by now. You can get in touch with the Secretary General or their academics coordinator to get any other information on Plus that you want. Otherwise, all the best to you guys. Thank you so much for coming through, and thank you so much for everybody, the speakers that came through. Have a good day.